Alright.
I'm James.
Hey YouTube, I'm Sorrel. I'm kind of a guest here on for Finkelmistcomics. Anyway, we're doing I think the fourth part of the Omin Mesa Saga, the backstory of it.
Oh, this is the fifth one.
Fifth one?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, starting with the fifth part of the backstory here. Apocalypse and his 20 titans get out of hand. Lumin plans to oppose them, but needs assistance. He travels back in time for the... traveling time far back.
Far back.
To find 4 warriors to retrieve Murray. How do you pronounce that?
Mare.
Mare?
I don't know.
I
actually spelled it wrong there. I saw the name later and I was like, oh yeah.
Manages to come back with 4 who lose their memory and take the names Bodos, Mo, Job, I think? Job and Vega. Time travel kills Lumin.
Yeah, it's stressful, man. He went back probably 40 billion years.
Holy
like he doesn't master time travel. He was just looking for strong warriors and just kept going back until he could find ones that were not significant enough in their history.
Basically ones that were expendable by that universe.
Yes.
So basically Apocalypse and his 20 titans must have posed a major threat.
Yes.
Because that sounds like a lot like a last-ditch resort. The 20 titans are defeated by the South Masons and Crystalla. Apoco's jaw is shattered and he loses his memory.
That's part of history that ends up changing later. Lumin had gone back in time before to try to bring warriors to stop the 20 titans. He ends up failing because he dies. They end up losing their memory. But the South Masons still confront the 20 titans. They're not quite strong enough to take on Apocalypse and his second in command. But Crystalla, who's still on her spiritual journey, knows that she's needed for this and shows up and defeats his second in command and then kicks him in the jaw as he's screaming, "You can't defeat me, my name's Apoco." Gets whacked in the jaw. His jaw shatters into like 100 different pieces and he gets knocked out and loses his memory. There's a lot of memory loss going on.
Apparently. What's next? Sir George hires one of his retired soldiers to work in robotics because of his skill displayed in saving a fellow soldier from death by making him a cyborg. It looks like cyborg. Anyway, the soldier is dubbed Sir Clayton and his friend Legs. Sir Clayton uses his funds and factories to create a small guard of androids. He keeps numbers 91, 421, and 422.
The android numbers are like registered numbers, and he got some registries between 80 and 100 and something, and then his next registry numbers were in the 400s. A
young scientist named Solid takes DNA from one of the South Masons that defeated the Titans to create a more human version clone. The clone is known as the one in the cage. Okay. Mission named Stager that joins Gold at his last dojo.
Golu.
Golu. They learn about peace and justice. Learn about peace and justice. Not long after, they both graduate and begin their journey to Mesa to be King Power Guardians. The bounty hunter Noba, one of the holders of Gororo's symbols of power, starts to hunt down the other symbols.
Yeah, Noba was a friend of mine's character from, I don't know, like 9th grade or something.
I remember this from that card game.
Yeah.
I'm actually remembering a lot of this from your card game. For YouTube, I am a guest here, but I've known about the Omin Mesa Saga for several years. It's
which
James has done.
Cool.
Yeah, James has done a pretty good amount of work into it, but so far all he has is This is finally establishing the backstory to it, but the actual events in the saga as in the present in it have already been made out. A lot of the characters, a lot of the events and such, and
There's a lot of it too.
and yeah, and I'm already somewhat familiar with some of the characters and some of the events in it. So that's, I don't know, compared to the other videos, I'm probably maybe having an easier time pronouncing the names correctly.
Well, so far, like everything, so much better on the names.
Yeah, heck, some of the cards that he actually created card decks out of these characters, and I have some of them, or had. So some of the stuff's a lot more familiar to me. Anyway, next, Golu learns of the riddle.
He knows about the riddle too. That's been around for a while.
Vaguely.
It's how you gain access to the council. You got to answer the riddle, and you have to answer it in the right spot.
Translation is rough from the original liverings.
Yeah, the liverings are the ones that that understood what the riddle was. They were told it kind of like psychically, since the council resides on Mesa, somewhere hidden. Is it spiritual? Is it literal? Who knows?
Next part. A mysterious figure that calls itself the Watcher guides Golu to the council and teaches him the history of the universe.
It's just Lumin in disguise. Every time he's in a body, he has to battle for supremacy over the body.
I think I vaguely remember this part of this part being told that. Yeah, I vaguely remember that. There's actually I think you actually created variations of characters based upon that, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Golu is given his enchanted item, a cape.
Yeah, you remember the cape Golu has, right?
I'm not sure.
It's black on the back and yellow on the inside. If you put force on the outside of it, on the black part, then it resists equally, but you can move it around from the inside.
I'm wanting to say I remember it, but it's, if I can't, it's so vague it's hard to say for sure. I first got introduced to this back in either probably 2005 or 2004.
In 2000 is when I decided that I wanted to make comic books, so I started putting the story together. And then
is that also when the name Finkelmist came about?
Yep.
Okay, tell them how that happened.
Oh, they don't want to. Okay, so one of my friends named the new kid Finkel. His name was Festus, cool kid, and my other friend named him Finkel. It was just kind of something that we called him. And he was one day shooting spitwads at me in the library, and I leaned over, and the spitwad hit the back of my chair, and I looked at it. I was like, "Ha! Finkel missed." Hey, that sounded really cool. So I wrote that down, and that became the name of my comic series, Finkelmistcomics. And then later on, I combined the name to make it Finkelmistcomics Production.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
That's just
backstory within a backstory.
Oh man, it's Inception.
Anyway,
so that's the end of this video. Come up with some questions like you've been doing forever. And if you haven't had any opportunity to have your questions answered, we can do that here too in the next video. Right? Yeah, not this one. The next one. The video in between this video and the next video that we're about to do.
Maybe. Sometime.
Yeah.
In the far future. I don't know.
Far future.
I don't know. 2017, 2018.
Oh. My Doctor Who series, that got so delayed, I haven't worked on it at all in like a year.